Ralph Bagnall here, Consulting Woodworker. In this video, I'm going to show you how to properly set up Microjig's ZEROPLAY Guide Bars so that your jigs, fixtures, and sleds move effortlessly but have zero play side to side. The issue with using a miter slot to guide your jigs, fixtures, and sleds is that although they're all nominally 3/4 of an inch wide, they're not all the same. Some are a little bit bigger, some are a little bit smaller. It varies from machine to machine and from brand to brand. So this sled that I have set up with a ZEROPLAY Guide Bar that perfectly fits the miter slot on my table saw does not fit the miter slot on my router table at all. No matter what saw you're using, no matter what jig you're building, your miter bar has to precisely fit the miter slot, or else you can get side-to-side play, which will spoil your accuracy. So any miter bar that you use has to have some mechanism for adjusting it to fit the miter slot. Now each ZEROPLAY Guide Bar is made up of two pieces. They're both glass-filled nylon. One has inserts and the other has the slots. But they're both angled slightly with a ramp and a notch so that as you slide the two pieces back and forth, they get wider and narrower. So the very first thing you want to do is set your two pieces together so that the threaded inserts are exposed. Where there's this counterboard slot, that's where the lock screws go, and where there's not a counterboard slot, that's where the mounting screws go. And I'm just going to set these in place, but I'm not going to tighten them yet because we need to adjust for our miter slot. So my locking screws are in place, but they're not tight yet. I need to be able to adjust the thickness, and I'll lock them down once I've got it set. The ZEROPLAY Guide Bar works perfectly fine in miter slots both with the T, like this one, and without that channel at the bottom. But one of the things I've found is that to get the most accurate reading or setting, you want the miter bar to be at the top of the miter slot where it's going to actually operate. And so in order to get it up there, use a couple of nickels. A couple of nickels will hold my guide bar up at the top here. They're about the perfect size, so I can adjust and set my guide bar right where it's going to be riding. So that makes a lot of difference in setting it up. Now we're ready to set the guide bar. I've got my nickels in the T slot. I'm going to adjust the guide bar by sliding the top back so it's as narrow as possible. Set it in place, and then I'm going to push the two pieces together until they snug up in my miter slot. Now the included Allen wrench is used to lock, and in this case I'm just lightly locking down the 3 set screws. And now I can check the fit. And I can slide it along, and there's no side-to-side play. That's a pretty good setup. So again, nickels in place, retract the guide bar until it's as small as possible, drop it in the miter slot, get a snug fit, not too tight because you're going to have to push it along with your jig, and lock the 3 set screws. Now we're just going to check the fit from front to back. There's no play. I can't feel it. It's zero play. That's where it gets its name. And now that you've gotten your ZEROPLAY Guide Bar properly set, it's ready to use in your jig, fixture, or sled. Find out more by visiting our website at www.microjig.com.
Microjig. Work safer. Work smarter.